Okay, that's my face.
But I'll say here, we keep it professional language, and more importantly, how you treat each other. I'll say this to all the gentlemen in the room. Gentlemen, no exception. I expect you to be 100% gentleman-like to every woman and female in the organization, otherwise you won't work here more than a day. But ladies, to be fair, vice versa too. Be ladylike, and we want to create a culture of respect and accountability, and everyone's comfortable here, okay? Wouldn't you agree that's a more professional atmosphere? Yes? Yeah, okay, cool. And then educate yourself. So here's the thing I want to share with you. Everything around the room is on purpose, meaning everything that's up on the wall is not just for decoration. It's supposed to help you sell more, make more, think bigger, and do more with the company. So let me give you a virtual tour or live tour of what the office means. And of course, where do you think I put the most important items? Right in front of your face, okay? So look above me, it says fast start. It says, have a fast start. And you can write some of these things down if you like, but have a fast start. Fast start is your first 10 days, and you can write that down for sure. Your fast start is your first 10 days with the company. And we have a special contest called the Fast Start. And what it's designed to do is encourage you to work really hard your first 10 days so that you can establish the right habits, you gain confidence, but also you hit promotions and make more money. Those are the 4 things we want you to do in your first 10 days. So if you're planning on working part-time or on other things, well, we want to maximize that part-time schedule. If you have nothing going on and you just want to work really hard and make a lot of money, let's do that. Now, there's a special part about the Fast Start. You can win up to about $1,800 worth of free Cutco products. That's one thing you can win, and I'll tell you why that's important later. You can also win what's called VIP night, and I can't tell you about it, but the short version is that it's me, our people who have sold over $10,000, South Beach, fun. That's all I can tell you, okay? So I'll tell you about that later. But the contest is designed to pump you up and get you excited. Now, if you notice, there's stars with people's names, and everyone over here has over $10,000. And we don't have enough room, so we even have a poster in the back with more people, okay? Anyone that sells over $10,000 for their Fast Start hits a special level called the 10K Fast Start. And that means 2 things. So those of you that are motivated by money, anyone money was like top 2 you wrote down? Okay. If you sell over $10,000 for your Fast Start, you will have made between $2 and $5 grand in your first 10 days on the job, okay? So if that's something that motivates you, I will teach you how to do that if you want, and I run a special session. It's called a high flyer session, just for those people. If you're really competitive or you want to make a lot of money right away. Also, these people have hit all the highest levels. So for some of you, 10% of you, I think going into the job, you already know the job. I think you're already someone who might go for that. 10% of you, you don't even have a schedule possible, and you're doing this as part-time as possible. That's no big deal. Let's get the most from the contest. And most of you, I'll give you more details as we go. So for you, if you're a big achiever, overachiever, usually my athletes and my musicians, if you're thinking really big with the job, think about having a $10,000 Fast Start. And I'll talk to you more about that a little bit later on in training. Up here, this is really important, Mac. This is the best customer you can show the product to. Now, of course, if you remember from the interview, customer is someone who's over 30 and they're working. You guys remember that? Like Daniel says, they're your typical soccer moms, okay? But these are the best customers. Out of all the people over 30 and working, if you can show Mac customers, Mac, M stands for married. Why would married be always better than a single person? Always, go ahead. Okay, husbands and kids, and you said kids, right? So people who have kids, you don't love to cook necessarily, but you what? You have to cook, you don't have a choice. You have to create survival with these kids, right? But why is married financially always better? You have 2 incomes, right? Or 1 really good income, and mom can stay home, or sometimes dad. Age. Now, of course, over 30, but why under 65? Because over 65, why is that not as good? Yeah, they don't have to cook as much. They might be retired, okay? And they're probably eating out a lot more, like my mom. My mom doesn't cook as much anymore. She used to, now she eats out all the time. And then homeowner, casa for Spanish, in Spanish, home. Why homeowner versus someone who's just renting an apartment? That's right, Brandon. It's more secure income and stability. So here's the thing with Macs. 10% of you, you have a ton of Mac customers. I mean, like everyone you know is a Mac. Well, for you, I'm going to teach you how to pick the best ones first. Some of you, you have less than 10 Macs. You don't have a ton of Macs in your circle of family and friends. That's totally fine, because I'll teach you how to show those people Cutco and get lots of recommendations, because who do those Macs, even if it's like 5 or 2 of them, who do they recommend you to? Right, more Macs. Why? What's the saying? Birds of a feather. Yeah. What does that mean? What does that, what does that mean? Birds of a feather. Joel. Is it Joel or Joel? Joel. What does that mean? Birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, most people you hang out with are probably your age, most of them. So when you talk to a Mac customer, they'll refer you to the same types of people. So that's first, not another thing. Up here, this is really important because this is how we can determine, are you on the low 10%, the high 10%, are you the average? These are your statistics, okay? Scarlett, I'm gonna keep using you as an example because you play sports. Basketball, right? You already know your free throw percentage, you know what's good, what's bad, right? And so if it's below what you want it to be, what do you do? If your free throw percentage is lower than you want it to be, what do? You shoot more, you practice more, right? This will help us determine. The average order with Cutco is about $300 plus, and it fluctuates. Okay. The reason it's $300 is because anyone can afford $300 if you're Mac. $300 is the public's bill for the week. It's the grocery bill for the week. $300 might be 1 or 2 books for their college kid. Okay, $300, you take 3 kids, mom and dad out to Olive Garden. Yes.
Isaac 824 and Caroline 650.
Awesome. Okay, the bell. You have to know the bell. You beat me to it. The bell means something awesome's happening. More sales, more recommendations, or more bonuses. So if it's okay with you, I'd like him to keep ringing the bell so you know who's selling. But I also want you to see examples of where you can be. Hey, Ricky, can you give me those again? So watch this.
Isaac is 650.
Okay, so Isaac.
The 25%.
Okay, and then who else?
Caroline is no, sorry, opposite.
Okay. So
Isaac 900, Caroline 650.
900. Okay. So Caroline's about 20%, and then Isaac. Okay. So Caroline just started last week. I'm sorry, Caroline just started last week. Which one? Caroline. Sorry. Caroline just started last week. So 1 week ago, she was in this Cutco training, had never done the job. So she just sold 900 on one appointment. What's the average order? Yeah, so her average order, that was 3 times the average order. Okay. And if you notice here, that means she made $180 in that hour. Okay. Now for some of you, that's like a whole week's worth of work. Okay. I'm just showing that to you because I want you to see how quickly you can progress with the company. Isaac's not new, but Isaac had a little bit of a slower start, and now he's catching up. He's at 25%. So he made about the same, roughly, about the same on less sales because his commission's higher. Okay. And both of them 18, 19 years old. Does that motivate anyone, by the way? Okay, good. I'll keep showing you. Yes, quick question.
Didn't you correct to say that Isaac was the one that paid 900?
Yeah, I don't even know, honestly. It doesn't matter. What matters is this for you. How about that? Okay, cool. Let's do this. Thank you. Closing ratio. That means 6% of your orders or your customers should place an order and 5 to 10 recommendations. So here's the cool thing. I want you to know there are going to be some of you, 10% of you, but there's 40 of you in training. That means 10 of you will be below average your first weekend. And that's cool. We'll know. We'll know. I'll be able to fix you on Monday when we have advanced training. 10% of you will be above average, and most of you will be exactly here. Here's what's great. Now you'll know. Okay, now you'll know. Over here, I put Facebook posts because one of the things that gets people really excited here is the travel opportunity. And we have a bonus that I'll share with you on Saturday. When you recommend people to the job, I have a bonus available, which I can't tell you about yet. It's a little secret. And you have a chance to travel. I'm showing you this because a lot of people will do what's called triple threat. Triple threat are the 3 most used forms of social media. It's Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. Those are the 3 big ones. I know most moms and dads use the Facebook. You guys are more Snapchat and Instagram. But what they'll do is they'll actually post pictures of the job, or they'll post this on their wall, and friends who are looking for work will respond, and it's free advertising, and it gives you a chance to get bonuses. So that's why this is up here. Also, over here it says Dirty 30, okay? The highest commission percentage you can make before you start earning the bonus levels is 30%. That's such a big deal in our company because when you make 30%, okay, this is where you can work, and I'll say this phrase over and over again. When you're 30-30, you can work part-time, but make what? But make full-time. Who just gets excited about that concept? Think about it. Where those of you that are going to school in the fall, if you work hard this summer, my goal is everyone is here by the time you get to school. That means you can work part-time and make full-time, or you can continue to work full-time, but you make big time. Okay, the Andrew Ferreira makes 30-30. He's actually almost at 50%. Andrew can work 1 weekend and make a common as paycheck. I'll say that again so we can process, right? He's a full-time student at FAU. He can work 1 weekend 6 to 8 appointments, and he can have a comma on his paycheck. So he'll work part-time but make big time, okay? My goal for you is everyone to hit this by the end of the summer. If you're a high flyer though, my goal is for you to hit it in your first 10 days. Okay, that's the difference. So if you want to be average, I'll teach you how to hit this by August, September. If you want to be above average, I'll teach you how to do it in your first 10 days. Cool? Yes? Yes. Okay, cool. SC1 is a conference that unfortunately just passed, so you can no longer attend it. However, we do have what's called our division meeting. I want you to write down this date, June 30th. June 30th is our division meeting, and that's the big, bad, awesome sales strategy, educational, instructional, motivational session. It's going to be in Miami Gardens all day on Tuesday. You have to be invited. You can't just go. And it's going to have all the best of the best Cutco sellers and managers are coming together at the hotel for an instructional session. And we actually even pay for the event for the people who are invited. So we have 30 or 40 of you here today. We're going to have room for about 25 extra openings from this group. So if you work really hard in the next 2-3 days, we'll be inviting people to the division meeting. And long story short, if you get invited to that meeting, that means you're going to get the high-powered training that most people don't get. You'll get instruction from people who have individually sold hundreds of thousands of dollars with the Cutco. In fact, I've recruited one of the top 10 sellers in the entire company's history. He's a Hall of Fame member of their company. His name is Andy Janti, and he's over $2.1 million in Cutco sales. So do you think that guy knows what he's doing? Yeah, he's volunteered to come teach at that event. That's why we're only inviting people. It's not open invitation. So if you get invited to that in 2 weeks, it means you're getting off to a fast start. Okay, so that's why this is here, so you know about the events. Over here is the newsletter, all the great accomplishments that we'll talk about every Wednesday. The best part of the job, I'll tell you right now, is every Wednesday night. Wednesday, we have the team meeting. The whole team gets together. We give instruction. We do a lot of recognition, and you leave that meeting like feeling like $1 million. And it causes you to be motivated. And more importantly, we properly recognize your accomplishments. And then, of course, over there, those posters represent scholarship. And here, this is the scholarship. So the top 50 students who won a scholarship for the summer. And these things represent promotions within the company. Okay? So if you notice, everything here has a reason. The most important, your best customers. This is how you know if you're average, below, or above. Fast start is your first 10 days in the contest. Some of you will be a top performer and go for a $10,000 fast start. And then this is how you can get more bonuses and friends onto the team. Okay, you guys with me so far?
Yes.
Oh, and trophies, just to let you know that we're awesome and that we win a lot of trophies because our team is very competitive. Okay. So before I continue, can I bring up Bruno? Let me introduce Bruno here. This is Bruno. Bruno is one of our key staff members. Key staff members are we call them the team captains of our office. So they're the highest performers. They get the most attention. They get extra training. And in order to get on key staff, it's number one based on attitude, like team player attitude. And then, of course, it's based on sales performance. So Bruno started with us three trainings ago. Three trainings ago. He's already hit several promotions with the company. He's made almost or just over $1,000 already in income since 3 weeks. I know for some of you, that's like a whole summer job, but he's made it about 2.5, 3 weeks. 3 promotions, almost 4. He's been promoted to key staff already. And he'll be probably 1 week from now, 2 weeks latest, he'll be at 30-30 already within his first month on the job. So he'll be able to work to make full-time or work full-time and make what? Make the big-time money. So Bruno, name, school, and major, and start with top 2 things, 1 or 2 things you like about the job so far.
All right, name is Bruno Paisleme. I'm a sophomore going to the University of Florida, Go Gators, and I'm a pre-law major, economics and philosophy. Top 2 things that I like about the job so far. The team atmosphere really drives you to do better. One thing that they say that your circle of influence is really important. So if you surround yourself with the people who are going to push you to do harder, you're just going to naturally do better whether you like it or not.
Okay, and then give them 2 tips.
2 tips. The first one would be go all out on the assignment tonight. It's going to give you a nice cushion. It's going to make your job easier going forward. So do as best as you can. They'll tell you a little bit more about the assignment, but do as best you can. The second one is go to Champions Club. Champions Club is awesome. It's where you'll get better at the job and you learn and grow every day.
Yeah, Champions Club is optional, but it's highly encouraged. Where every Monday through Friday we have a special. It's like office hours, and in the morning from 8 to 9:30, our best people come in. Bruno's always here. Every key staff member is here at some point between Monday and Friday, 8 to 9:30. And so if you're new, You're invited to come in, get tips from that group, make phone calls to set up your week together, and we just put our best people with the best people. If you're looking to have a $10,000 fast start, part of what's going to help you do that is Champions Club starting Monday. So we'll talk about that later. Can we give Mr. Bruno a round of applause? Thank you, man. Okay, so I have 2 objectives for you. We'll wrap up. Number 1, I want you to make a lot of money, but this job is different. I want you to make a lot of money, but this job is different. It's not the hourly job. Who's had hourly jobs before? No offense. Those are some of those jobs are great jobs, by the way. Some of them are not. Okay. Zach, what were you doing before?
Winn-Dixie cashier.
Oh, perfect. Cashier. Okay, so great example. 8 an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it 8 an hour. That's very standard for a high school senior / freshman in college. That's normal, unfortunately, right? So $8 an hour. Let's say Zach, if Zach wants to go in a little bit early and make sure Winn-Dixie looks extra nice for the morning, is he gonna get more than 8 an hour? He's gonna get extra money? Does he get props for it? Sometimes, no? You don't know, okay. If he decides to show up late, not late where he gets fired, but late enough where he's under the radar, will he make less? He still makes how much? 8 an hour. That's what most people your age are used to. This is different. If you go in extra and you come in early for the session and you do more, you do make more money. That's the difference. And if you always show up late and you miss all these events, you always make less money here. And that's how it works. And I think that's great because now you get what you're worth. This is why my athletes love this job. You're used to this, right? Basketball, softball, right? Football. I mean, musicians. You guys, what do you play? Okay, awesome. So you know when you put more work into it. So just like school, and here's what I'll tell you: work really hard in the beginning. But financially, my goal on average is that every student who works with us for the summer makes well over $2,000 for the summer. That's my goal. 10% of you will be below, most of you will be around there, some of you will be higher. My top performers, though, will make like Stephen LeMay. Stephen LeMay plays golf at Alabama Southern. I went to West Academy. He was our #1 income earner, made almost $10,000 before graduated from high school, going into college. So we have that. We have also people that do this full time. They're not in school. And Andy, who I spoke about earlier at $2 million, he makes 6 figures a year selling Cutco. So obviously that's not everyone, but I do want you to know that you can make a lot of money here. And my goal is for you to make anywhere from $2,000 or more. Our high flyers, 5 to 10,000 plus. Okay. Second thing, experience. I think that's also the most important part for long term, is experience. Here's what's great about this job. Okay, what's great about this job is that this job doesn't help you just now; it helps you in the future. And I think that's why a lot of you are signed up to work with us. You guys know that Vector Marketing is the largest college student recruiting company in North America. No other company in the country, in North America, works with more 18 to 23-year-olds in Vector Marketing. We have a big reputation with the professional community because we breed and groom you guys before you go into the workforce while you're in college. That's what we're known for. We're known as the resume boosters. I know you guys know us as the knife job. We're known in corporate America, in the real world, we're known as the resume boosters and the people that help get better applicants to their schools and to their professional schools and their professional trades. I take a lot of pride in that because that's more so what I do other than just the knives, okay? So for experience, I know right now when you meet with customers, here's the job that I'm gonna teach you to do in the next 10 days. You're gonna make phone calls, set up appointments, go to the house, show the product, do you wanna buy? That's the job. I know it doesn't sound sexy when I say it that way. I know, I'm so sorry. Jeff, you can make it sound better. But the job is set up appointments, you go to the house, you present, would you like to buy? And then when you're done, ask for recommendations. But think about all the majors that you have and all the aspiring majors that you have. You have to do the same thing, right? Raise your hand if you're in a science major or aspire to be in a science major. Sports med. Awesome. So you want to be an actual doctor or a trainer?
Physical trainer.
Awesome. So ready? When you have Scarlett at the personal training facility, and I have a consult, it's called a consult, and they'll meet with Scarlett, and Scarlett will set up an appointment, present not the product, but her service of what? Personal training therapy. And at the end, she'll say, do you want to buy? But it's not, do you want to buy? It's, would you like me to be your trainer? It's the same thing. Right? Other medical? Yeah, pre-med? Back to as a Whitney. Physical therapy, same thing. You come in for a consult. Here's my presentation, appointment. Would you like to buy my services? How about business? Anyone business major? Right? International business, right? Set up a phone call internationally. Español, right? You gotta do a bilingual. Here's my presentation. Would you like to buy? Anyone, not science, not business. What do you got? Engineering. Okay, ready? So if you're actually in the firm, right? Here's the project. Here's our presentation. Would you like us to engineer and do your project? It's the same thing. Even if you're not selling a product, if you're not selling a service, if you're not selling an idea, who do you have to sell? Where? To the customer and on the interview. You know what's great about this job, and some people don't think about it until later when they call me and they get the job after college, is that who are the best customers you're showing the product to? Max. Ready? When you interview for jobs in the real world, when you interview for physical therapy school and medical school and that engineering firm, who are the people that you're interviewing with? They're also what? They're also married over 30 and own a home. And see, most people your age can't do anything past social media and texting. That's a fact. I'm not even making fun of you. I'm just telling you, your generation is known as social media and texting. You would rather text than call, your generation. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how you are. So when you can talk to people on the phone, what does that give you? Experience and, you said it, Brendan, an advantage. When you interview people, true story, Marquise Wright went to West Broward Prep, plays football at Georgetown University, wide receiver. And he said, Jeff, I'm applying for this position, and my Georgetown education doesn't stand out because there are other great schools. And I thought that being a Division I athlete would stand out, but there's hundreds of Division I athletes also applying. So what's the job? He says, I want to be on Wall Street, like on the floor, on Wall Street. How many openings? 64. For your school? He goes, no, nationwide. Right. And I said, let's get it. Cool. So I interviewed, and normally when you interview, it's usually 2-on-1. And the lady said, Marquise, you know, we can't really interview you today because my partner's sick, so I'll have to reschedule. Marquise said, I'll just interview with you. Right? And she just looked confused because most people his age, right? Most people his age can't speak to people one-on-one. He said, no, I prefer one-on-one. She goes, okay. And Marquise has sold almost $30,000, $40,000 worth of Cutco to Mac customers, no problem. Sits down, she makes the call, skips the next 2 interviews. As of 2 weeks ago, Marquise is on the floor, one of 64 nationwide. He's on the floor. Got the job, no problem. When you go to an interview at med schools and business schools. So my goal is to get you that type of experience. Also, how to make customer phone calls, professional calls. These are all things that will separate you. The top 3 things I'll tell you, you can write this down. Top 3 things that will separate you by working with us this summer. Number 1, phone skills. Most people your age do not know how to negotiate or set up appointments on the phone. How are business transactions taken care of? On Instagram? Multi-million-dollar deal. Snapchat? Text me your offer? No way. Anyone medicine? Or physical therapy, right? Scarlett Whitney, both athletes, right? There we go. Do you text your diagnosis? Hey, sorry, your knee's blown out, so call me. No, you have to know how to talk to the patient, okay? So it's phone skills. Number 2, one-on-one communication. One-on-one communication. Not just the phone, but being able to speak to someone live one-on-one. 10% of you are scared to death of this. And I love having you on this team because we'll teach you. 10% of you are really good at this. I'm just going to hone your skills. And most of you just need practice. But not what kind of practice? Perfect practice. Really important, okay? And the third skill is how to sell, how to close a sale. How to close a sale. Right? How to ask for things in a professional, positive, assertive manner. And number 4, time management. That's the last one. Number 4 is time management. We'll try to organize your schedule, manage your schedule. Okay. I'm so confident because the company I'm about to start training with today has been profiled many times for its ability to work with young people. In fact, some articles we've had in the past, Wall Street Journal, if you're familiar, is one of the top 3 most credited publications in the country. Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and the New York Times are the 3 most respected. And 2013, we had an article profiled on this training, on this company. Why? Because it's giving you skills that other people want to have on their team, in their profession, in their school. It talks about college students becoming closer to being entrepreneurs. It talks about eye contact and the ability to shake hands, communicate, to be clear, and to be confident. And I can already tell by looking in your eyes, some of you, when I say clear, confident, communicate, it gets you excited because that's something you're working on. And that's what we can help you with here. Also, recently in May, we had an article in Entrepreneur Magazine. And how about this? If you can't tell, this is a Cutco article. It says slicing and dicing my way to becoming an entrepreneur. And this article is written by a former Cutco alumni, Chester Eng, who's now CMO of his own private company, doing very well for himself. And he talks about the skills that he learned. In fact, he talks about some famous people that have sold Cutco. Has anyone ever taken an Uber before? An Uber, yeah. The founder of Uber in California is a former Cutco alumni. And you've never seen that really crazy comedian, Daniel Tosh? And then, Tosh point out, he's also a former Cutco sales rep. Has anyone ever, and I could go on and on and on. So the reason I say that is because these experiences will help you in the future with future endeavors. Next thing I want you to write down for me, please, are the events. Okay, and I think, oh, you wrote this down already. I want to show you some pictures of the conference. So the division meeting that some of you will get invited to in 2 weeks, June 30th. These are some pictures, and look at all the students learning. You'll get a chance to meet everyone that sells Cutco in South Florida, all the way up north is Boca, mid-Miami, South Miami, West Palm Beach, Fort Myers, Port Charlotte, and Naples. And we'll have 200 of the best people in the entire state at that event. So I'll be able to offer a couple of spots for some of you. If you're really, really interested in getting invited, ask during the break, and I'll let you know how you can get invited. It's all based on attitude right now. I also want to show you the national sales report. I want to get you pumped on two things. I want to show you that the company is selling a lot and you're about to start. And number two, I want you to know our team is really good and you're in a really good atmosphere. All my athletes, you guys know what it's like when you play on a team that's really good already. What happens just by you being on the team? Yeah, you're forced to get better and you become a better player. Same thing here. So take a look at this. I want to show you. National sales report. There you go. Sorry, just kidding. I want you to see how well our division's doing. Okay, this is all of the. These are all the Cutco offices in Florida, Caribbean. That's what South Florida and the Caribbean. You see how well we're being compared to the rest of the company. This is for the week, and I want you to write down that number: $5.6 million. That's how much Cutco was sold last week. Okay, so why do you think I tell you that number here in your first day of Cutco training? Okay, to get you pumped for your first 10 days. But why else do I want you to know that the company sold $5.8 million last week? Go ahead.
So 5.99.
Yeah, to go higher, but also to let you know that it's working. And a lot of people are purchasing the product. So I encourage every single week in the meetings, we actually tell you what the week sales are so you can share it with who? Who do you think I want you to share that with? Who do you think I want you to share that with? Hey, your customers and your friends and family too. So a couple of training tips. Number one is be on time. I always like 15 minutes before kickoff, before start time. We call that vector time. So if we start at 11:30 tomorrow, 11:15 is vector time. Of course, be a professional. You don't have to write this down, by the way. Yeah, it's easy. Be professional. Language, how you carry yourself. I love questions. This isn't the interview. You know, the interview is kind of only when we ask you ask questions. Here, fair game. But if I can't ask a question on the spot, I ask two things. I ask that you raise your hand during the questions, because during the sessions, if I'm on a roll, let's say Scarlett, raise your hand. If I'm on a roll and then Scarlett, I see your question, I'm going to give you the finger, not that finger, different finger. So raise your hand. I'll go like this. I'll go, and I'll smile at you like real nice to make sure you're not mad at you for asking the question. So raise your hand. I'll go like this, which means I want you to do what? Write down your question, and the smile means I can't do it right now. But I will during the break. And the reason I won't, because if I'm on a roll, you don't want me to stop. Trust me, it'll help your training. Number two, sometimes I already know the questions you're asking, and I'm about to get to it. Okay? Be an aggressive learner. You guys know this already. Active with the participation. I would say right now you guys are 7 out of 10. We're getting better. We're getting better. But remember, it's not for me. It's for who? Yeah, so I want you to get involved, participate, active, wax on, wax off all day long. And pretty soon I'll throw a proverbial karate punch at your face, and you'll block it. I won't really throw a punch, but you'll see. And then, of course, have a Cutco notebook and study your materials. Real easy. So here's what I want to do. Before we go to a break, I want to review a couple of things that will help build confidence in what you're doing. And this is all from the interview, so this isn't anything new. But who can tell me, first of all, why does our company do really well, and why do we choose to go direct in terms of our sales? Meaning, why do we go right to the customer's home with the sale versus we'll go this way and that way, versus going to, let's say, retail? Go ahead, Justin.
Because the product speaks for itself,
Yep. And well, go ahead. You were saying.
and you can't see the difference between that product and another product if it's on the shelf.
If it's on a shelf, first of all, if you open it, you have to buy it. Number two, you can't see it, but what can you see is the price. So which one do you end up buying? You buy the cheaper one, and that's not necessarily good because you got what you pay for. Yeah, of course. So great thing. Wayne, you were going to say next. Yeah, we don't need to advertise. Highest quality products and highest quality companies don't need to advertise because how do they rely on their advertising? Word of mouth. And how much does word of mouth cost? It's free. Rolex doesn't advertise. Lamborghini, and I use Ferrari in our example. You'll see Lamborghini, same thing. Ferrari doesn't advertise. They don't need to. It's like, oh, we're going to get a Ferrari. You know what that means. It's the same thing with Cutco. Okay, why else do we go factory direct? It saves money, sir. Why? You're right. Yeah, so if we sold it, now we wouldn't sell it to like a dollar store, but if we sold Cutco to a high-end department store like Nordstrom, what would Nordstrom right off the top do? Raise the price so they make their cut. So what we're able to do is ship, just like Joel said, ship it directly from a New York-based plant right to the customer's home, which eliminates the up cost. So ready? This, I hope, gives you the biggest confidence today. We're able to sell a Ferrari quality product compared to, let's say, a Mercedes, but we charge a Camry price. I'll say it again, because people tend to relate to cars. Our Cutco is the Ferrari, and you can use Lamborghini, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, but I'm going to use Ferrari because it's consistent. Our product is the Ferrari. The product right in front of Scarlett over here, right in front of Zach over here. These are Ferrari quality products. We sell a Ferrari. In the presentation, we compare it to the Mercedes of knives, but we sell it for the Camry price. What do you think that does to our sales? If you could sell a Ferrari, compare it to Mercedes, and charge the Camry price, what happened? You'd 5.8 million this week, or 5.6 million this week, and counting. By the way, we're going to do 7 or 8 this week, million. That's what's happening. So, pumped about that? That's pretty cool. I'll teach you how that works tomorrow. One more thing. Why else do we sell factory direct? It's very similar to what Justin was saying earlier. There you go. Ready? It's good customer service. Instead of just a great product, they also have a great experience with you. That's why we don't care if you're a good salesperson or not. We care if you're a good person. We care if you will follow directions. We care if you'll be professional. You don't need sales training here. I'll give you the sales training. We just need you to be good and represent the company. Plus, what would a customer do if they wanted to buy a car first? What do you have to do first? Try it out. What's that called? It's a test drive. Well, the same thing. We allow customers to test drive the product in the comfort of where? Their own home with someone who's fully trained and has all their questions answered one-on-one versus I got to call my manager. Versus I don't know the answer even though I have the shirt of the store I'm working at. Who's ever been there in retail? Say, can I help you? Yeah, you know this? I'm sorry, not my department. Right? That we eliminate that. We give great customer service. So nice work, everybody. Second thing, why do representatives set their own appointments versus a telemarketer? There are 3 reasons, 2 or 3 reasons. Why do we have you set up your own appointments versus telemarketer? Barry, say it again. Meaning what? You're right. Meaning what? Yeah, you get to set up your appointments when you want to work. Here's the great thing. The most selfish thing about this job is what you should take advantage of. You work when you want to work. If you want to work a lot, you want to work full-time and make big time, you can do that. If you have something flexible you need to work around, you can do that. And that's something that everyone loves here. And I'll teach you how to work that skill. It's one of the top 4 skills you'll learn with us. What's the other reason that we don't? Go ahead. One more time. It is more personal, right? So let's say I see Miss Scarlett for an appointment, and she recommends me to the whole church. This is the whole church. Right? Then I call Mr. Brandon and his wife picks up. Instead of, I don't know who you are, it's, oh, hey, Brandon. Hi, wonderful. I was looking to speak to your wife. This is Jeff Gambaugh. I'm friends with Miss Scarlett, your neighbor from church. What's he going to say? Oh, sure. Hold on 1 second. You're a student? Great. Hold on 1 second. How's that feel? Versus telemarketing. How do people usually react to telemarketing? They don't react. They just hang up. Okay. What's the 3rd reason? I said this earlier. What's the 3rd reason, Joel? Experience for you, right? You're going to learn how to set up appointments, speak to customers. That's such an awesome skill to learn. And I can't wait to teach that to you. Some of you I know are even afraid of the phone. Not texting and social media, but speaking to people on the phone is a foreign concept to you. I'm going to teach you to do that. When you master that, you're already separating yourselves from the pack. And it's one of the things I love teaching. We'll teach you that tomorrow. Last thing before we move on. How do representatives start, and why do representatives start with their own friends and family? Yeah, why? Meaning what? Tell me more.
Well, they'll criticize, like, not one of those constructive criticism, so you make mistakes, they'll tell you.
Yeah, but how many of you know your favorite aunt or your best friend's mom and dad, or mom and dad will give you straight up feedback? Like, oh, you messed that up. Ooh, that was bad. But guess what? How do you feel when it's friends and family?
Okay.
It's comfortable and you're getting good feedback. But number two, who will they refer you to? Their friends and family. Their friends and family. That's another part. Why else do we have used to people that you know?
They're shy, they more confidence.
Yep. Another reason, and it's Manish. Manish, sorry. Okay, Manish. What else? Go ahead. Say it again. Yeah. Do you think that, by the way, Cutco is awesome. It's the Ferrari. You think mom and dad want a Ferrari for the price of a Camry? What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they cook?
Yeah.
Yeah. All your parents, most of your parents are Mac customers. And do you think that if I have a mom, let's say my favorite Aunt Scarlett, she sees these two sets. One costs this, one costs that. It's like a Camry versus a Ferrari. I like both equally, but it's me, her favorite. Her favorite nephew. The one that she used to babysit when mom was busy. The one that I call second mom. Do you think she might get the smaller one or the bigger one? What do you think? Because I'm her baby. Because, right, you see how that works out? Because, by the way, they're all going to love Cutco. Whether they choose to place an order or not, they will all love the product. But when the time it comes down to purchasing, they usually want to help you out and invest more because they know you. They trust you, and they're not judging you. Now they're just judging the product. You guys see the difference? Awesome. Nice job. So before we take a break, I just want to share with you my story. I started back long, many ages ago. Some of you were born in 1997. Yeah, that's when I started Cutco, believe it or not. Last week or 2 weeks ago was my Cutco birthday. This is my 19th summer. But I started just like you. I was a rising sophomore at the University of Maryland in College Park, Maryland. Go Terps. Anyone know the Terps? No? Okay, yeah, Big 12 now. So I was your normal high school / Cutco college student. I was, after my first year of college, I spent all my money having fun. And I was blessed because I didn't have to pay for school, and I worked hard so I didn't have to pay for school, but I did have to pay for my fun. That wasn't free because I was a lot of fun, and that meant a lot of money for me to spend. And I ran out of money. I'll never forget, I had saved $2,000 my first summer cutting grass and babysitting. And I thought I was rich. Right? Who can relate to that? Where you have like, I have like $1,000. I'm like rolling in the money. But when you're a college and high school student, it doesn't feel like a lot of money until you get to the real world. Then you go to college, and one swipe of the credit card, and there's half of it gone for books. Who can relate to that? Say aye. Yeah, you know, it's like, ooh. And then you go out for one fun weekend, and a really fun weekend, and you're like, well, how's my account down $100? Or, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Long story short, a friend of mine recommended me. She was doing really well with the company. Not only was she selling, making a lot of money with Cutco, financially free, she was running a Cutco office. And I remember thinking, Joanna was my friend, 19 years old, same age. I was babysitting and cutting grass. And she's 19 years old, going to be the owner of a Cutco office for 4 months and have her own receptionist team, secretaries, and run a Cutco training program. And I was going to babysit and cut grass. So I thought to myself, boy, if I'm a pre-med major, I might want to get a better gig on my resume than babysitting and cutting grass. No offense, because I did both. So I decided to sign up and came to training. It was awesome. I was definitely nervous. I was here. I wasn't skeptical. I wasn't gung-ho. I was kind of in between, but I just wanted to see what it was all about. And it was so much fun in training. I worked hard on my assignment the first day. My mom and dad thought I was crazy. My girlfriend at the time thought I was crazy for doing the night job, but I did it. And it was awesome. My first day, my dad was so skeptical, but then he saw the product and they bought the most popular set. And instead of being skeptical, he loved it. And I said, I thought you were skeptical. He said, well, I didn't know it was this good. I don't have a mom like that, a dad like that. Yeah, okay. So then they recommended me to all the friends. And my first weekend on the job, I made about $400. And I remember $400, like 3 weeks of work for me back in high school. But I made it in a weekend. And I thought to myself, well, I could do really well with the company. So I decided to go for a $10,000 fast start. And I'm really glad that I did because I hit it. This is how much I sold, $15,000. But that earned me $3,500 in 10 days. Like, to me, that was really cool because that was 2-3 summers of work in one 10-day period. So I was all Cutco pumped. like you can ever imagine. And so I kept working because I could work part-time and make full-time, but I decided to work full-time and make what? I decided to make big time. So I won all the contests. I got a chance to travel. I won what was called VIP night. I won all this free Cutco. And that summer, I made enough money to pay for my own school, be financially independent. All my friends that were skeptical weren't skeptical when I was paying for everything. When we went out, right? The pizza at the end of the night, the rounds of ice cream that you buy. But it's really cool. All my friends that were skeptical when I got the job, when they saw I was doing well, they won the job. It was really cool. The company had bonuses when you recommended people because you were helping the company save money. So I got bonuses. And this job is not about just recruiting your friends, but I really believed in working here because I learned a lot about myself and resume. So I wanted my friends to work here. So of my 9 friends, 8 of them worked here. Like my 9 closest friends, 8 of them worked here, and the 9th one worked with us in the fall. It was awesome. And I stayed here. I got into our aggressive growth and leadership training, which is our version of management training. I knew that as a pre-med major, I didn't want to be in sales, but I knew I had to be able to sell myself. And I also knew that I wanted to run my own private practice. So I got into the leadership training here. And they taught me how to run an office. 1999, I ran a Cutco office for 4 months at 20 years old. And I got great experience. And then I graduated. I took Cutco on my resume. I applied to 15 different jobs. Long story short, all the jobs took me, and all the jobs asked me about Cutco, whether it's selling or it was the office experience of running my own office. Only 5 asked me my GPA. Only 3 asked me my major. But 15 job interviews asked me about the knives. And that was awesome. And that's part of why I decided to stay with the company after college. I said, I really love teaching. I love the skills we teach. The financial opportunity is awesome here. So I stuck around. I became a career manager in 2000 at Cutco. That year, we were the #1 new office in the company. At 23, I got promoted again to my current job. Seems like forever ago. And at 23 years old, I was running all of Maryland, all of DC, and all of Delaware for the company. Did really well. Over a stretch of 6 years, we became one of the top organizations. And then in 2009, they asked me to move my talents down to South Beach. Where's that? You guys get that? So LeBron, no? Okay. You guys have forgotten about him, right? Okay. So anyway, they asked me to move my talents down here, so to speak. And I took the position down here because I wanted to take over the team. I love the weather down here, I love the people, and we had a really awesome team. And we've taken Florida Caribbean from one of the worst to one of the best teams in the organization. All that's blah, blah, blah. All you need to know is that I'm still here because I love teaching people how to gain skills. I love teaching this, how to sell the Cutco product. And I also want you to know that I also started kind of skeptical, and I had a lot of people that were skeptical, but when I got the job, but just keep in mind this, if you have a lot of skeptical friends, family, a lot of people are skeptical and haven't even seen the product yet. A lot of people are skeptical. My dad was really skeptical until he saw a comma in my paycheck, right? My mom was real skeptical until I gave her a check to pay for tuition for the year, right? So I think it's natural for people to be skeptical. Wouldn't you agree? Like we live in a skeptical, sue-happy country. So just know if someone's really skeptical, here's what I'll say. I went through the same thing too, but just make sure you finish the training. Show them the product first before they start making an opinion, and you'll see what happens very quickly. Also, you can't do well with us if you sit on the fence. What does that mean if you sit on the fence? Who can tell me what that means? Go ahead.
Just barely getting by.
Yeah,
Just
but
going your own
ready?
way, not really
Very passive. It's like, okay, I'm in. I'm not in. I'm committed. I'm committed. You really won't. You'll be here. You'll be the low 10% every time. Okay. The way you do well with us is in your first 10 days. You do what? You got to dive in. It's like the beach. I was at the beach with my girlfriend the other day. The water's a little bit colder than you think. Who does frequent the beach from time to time or frequents? Okay, you ever go to the beach? My favorite thing to watch are people who don't know how cold the water is and they try to go in slowly. Right? Especially girls. They start screaming. Like, ah! Right? They start screaming. And I'm like, that's stupid. How do you get into the ocean there in that situation? You do what I do. You run and you just jump like an idiot and ready, you get in and you come up and it's refreshing and you acclimated. Meanwhile, this group of girls are still screaming like, it's cold. That's how this job works, by the way. I'm just telling you right now. Bruno, who you met earlier, and I'll keep introducing people here. Bruno's not a selling superstar. He acts like it now because he's trained now. When he was new, he didn't know what he was doing. But he made $100 his first day on the job. And he had 2 promotions within his first weekend. because you just dove in. And that's what I encourage you to do if you really want to do well with our company. So what I'd like to do is take our first break, but it's a working break, so I'm going to have you ask questions. During this break, here's what we'll do. We'll take 10, and I'm going to put some music on. During the break, the next set of questions are the travel questions. I'd like you to find out, if I'm meeting Scarlett here, top 2 to 3 places that you would either love to or have traveled to before and why. Number 2, if you need to use the restroom, we only have one restroom. So number 1, I ask that you keep it clean and respect it as if it were your own home. If you are a complete slob at home, treat it like it's my home, because I'm not a slob. So clean up after yourself. My dad had this sign in his office. He used to be a doctor. And it says, for the gentleman, he would say, "We aim to please. You aim to please." Okay? Everyone. That goes for girls too. So be wary of keeping the bathroom clean. This is your bathroom too, by the way. This is your office and in your locker room. So keep it clean. We have snacks for sale. So we have chips, muffins, and water for sale. Everything's $1 except for the muffins are $2. So if you want to get a snack, Ricky will come out. And then make sure you're asking 3 to 5 people the question. When you hear that Bruno Mars song that plays every 30 seconds on the radio, okay, you guys know what song it is when it comes on. When you hear that song, that means time's up, and start sitting down. Okay, any questions? You guys with me? Raise your hand, say aye. Aye. All right, stand up. So you're either asking questions, bathroom, or buying snacks. Watch the finals? Watch the finals.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
Well, one of my friends were all, Golden State. And there's they have one of those panelists that actually explain like a whole entire series, and then you go bet. It's like 80% for Golden State to win.